Good day, my name is Cherise Tambal. Our topic is all about Erikson's psychosocial theory. The learning objective summarizes Erikson's stage of psychosocial development. Who is Erikson? Erikson is the father of psychosocial development. Born in Germany, an illegitimate child of a Danish parents, a dropout of high school, and spent time in traveling in Europe and studying arts. He studied young people in different cultures, became interested in how young people acquire a personal identity and how society helps shape it. The stages that make up his theory are as follows. Stage 1, trust versus mistrust. Stage 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt. Stage 3 is initiative versus guilt. Stage 4, industry versus inferiority. Stage 5, identity versus confusion. Stage 6 is intimacy versus isolation. Stage 7 is generativity versus stagnation. Stage 8 is integrity versus despair. The first stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development occurs between birth and 1 year of age and is the most fundamental stage in life. Because an infant is utterly dependent, developing trust is based on the dependability and quality of the child's caregivers. According to Erikson, it is the most important period of child's life as it shapes their view of the world as well as the overall personality. At this point in development, the child is utterly dependent upon adult caregivers for everything they need to survive, including food, love, warmth, and safety, and nurturing. If a caregiver fails to provide adequate care and love, the child will come to feel that cannot trust or depend upon the adults in their life. The child is going to develop a sense of 100% trust or 100% doubt. Erikson believed that successful development was all about striking a balance between two opposing sides. When this happens, children acquire hope, which Erikson described as an openness to experience tempered by wariness that danger may be present. Second stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. The second stage of Erikson's theory of psychosocial development takes place during early childhood and is focused on children developing a greater sense of personal control. This stage occurs between the ages of 18 months around age 2 or 3 years old. According to Erikson, children at this stage are focused on developing a greater sense of self-control. At this point in development, children are just starting to gain a little independence. They are starting to perform basic actions on their own and making simple decisions about what they prefer. By allowing kids to make choices and gain control, parents and caregivers can help children develop a sense of autonomy. Children who successfully complete this stage feel secure and confident, while those who do not are left with sense of inadequacy and self-doubt. Erikson believed that achieving a balance between autonomy and shame and doubt would lead to will, which is the belief that children can act with intention within reason and limits.
My name is Julian P.C. Mollaneda from BSed Mathematics 2C. The third stage of psychosocial development is the initiative versus guilt. It takes place during the preschool years. At this point, the psychosocial development, children begin to assert their power and control over the world through direct play and other social interactions. During this time, the child's primary feature is that he or she interacts with other children at school on regular basis. Play is central to this stage because it allows children to explore their interpersonal skills by initiating activities. Children start planning activities, making up games, and initiating activities with others. When children are given this opportunity, they develop a sense of initiative and confidence in their ability to lead others and make decisions. As the child's thirst for knowledge grows, he will begin to ask a lot of questions. It is critical to strike a healthy balance between initiative and guilt. Failure in this stage results in a sense of guilt, whereas success results in the virtue of purpose. The fourth psychosocial stage is the industry versus inferiority. It takes place during the early school years from approximately ages 5 to 11. Through social interactions, children begin to develop a sense of pride in their accomplishments and abilities. Children are now at the age where they will be learning to read and write, as well as do math and other tasks on their own. Teachers begin to play an important role in the child's life as they teach specific skills to the child. At this point, the child's peer group will take on greater importance and will become a major source of self-esteem for the child. The child now feels the need to gain approval by demonstrating specific competencies valued by society, and they begin to develop a sense of pride in their achievements. When children are encouraged and rewarded for their initiative, they begin to feel industrious or competent and confident in their ability to achieve their goals. If this initiative is not encouraged, if it is limited by parents or teachers, the child begins to feel inferior, doubting his or her own abilities, and may fail to reach his or her full potential. If the child is unable to develop the specific skill that society expects, example being athletic, they may develop a sense of inferiority. Some failure may be required in order for the child to develop some modesty. Again, a balance of competence and modesty is required. Success at this stage will result in a virtue of competition. The fifth psychosocial stage is the identity versus confusion. It takes place during the often turbulent teenage years. This stage plays an essential role in developing a sense of person identity, which will continue to influence behavior and development for the rest of a person's life. Teens need to develop a sense of self and personal identity. Success leads to an ability to stay true to yourself, while failure leads to real confusions and a weak sense of self. The transition from child to adulthood is critical during adolescence. Children are becoming more self-sufficient and they are beginning to consider their future in terms of career, relationships, families, housing, and so on. The individual wishes to be a part of a society and to fit in. This is a critical stage of development in which the child must learn the roles he will play as an adult. During this stage, the adolescent will re-examine his or her identity and to try to figure out who he or she is. Erikson proposes that two identities are at work: sexual and occupational. According to Erikson, the adolescent may feel uneasy about their body for a while until they can adapt and grow into the changes. This stage's success will lead to the virtue of fidelity. An adolescent may begin to experiment with different lifestyles in response to rule, confusion, or identity crisis. Example, work, education, or political activities. In addition to this feeling of unhappiness, pressuring someone into an identity can result in rebellion in the form of establishing a negative identity.
My name is Hiram Ibalidi Cuadrado from BSED Math 2C. I was assigned to report stage 6 to 8. Stage 6, Intimacy versus Isolation. Young adults need to form intimate, loving relationships with other people. Success leads to strong relationships, while failure results in loneliness and isolation. This stage covers the period of early adulthood when people are exploring personal relationships. To be intimate, you must be able to share aspects of yourself with others, as well as listen to and encourage others. However, things do not always go as planned. You may be rejected or receive other reactions that make you withdraw. It could damage your self-esteem and confidence, making you worry of putting yourself out there in the future. Isolation can cause by a variety of factors. The following factors may enhance your chances of being lonely and isolated. Fear of intimacy, fear of commitment, previous relationships, having issues with self-disclosure. Whatever the reason, it can have a negative impact on your life. It can cause feeling of isolation and depression. All must form close, committed relationships with one another. Those who succeed at this level will develop long-lasting and stable partnerships. It is important to remember that each step builds on the preceding ones. In order to form close relationships, Erikson believed that a strong sense of personal identity was necessary. People who have a low sense of self have less committed relationships and are more prone to experience emotional isolation, loneliness, and despair, according to the studies. The virtue known as love was formed from the successful completion of this stage. It is characterized by the ability to build long-term, meaningful connections with others. Stage 7. Generativity versus stagnation. Adults need to create or nurture things that will outlast them, often by having children or creating a positive change that benefits other people. Success leads to feelings of usefulness and accomplishment, while failure results in shallow involvement in the world. Between the ages of 31 and 60, this stage occurs. This stage is primarily concerned with being a useful member of a society. This is defined by procreation and taking responsibility for one's own and other people's offspring. This stage is marked by being a contributing member of society and fully embracing responsibility for the development of the next generation. In addition to getting married and raising children, not only to your own children, but also to the whole society. Passing on cultural standards and values is a good thing to do. Generativity is defined as the ability to be both productive and creative. It doesn't matter if you're constructing yourself and those around you, or if you're trying to make a living. We continue to develop our lives as adults, with a focus on our careers and families. Those who succeed in this phase will feel as if they are making difference in the world. Those who do not acquire this skill will feel unproductive and disconnected. When this stage is successfully handled, the virtue of care is realized. This stage emphasizes being proud of your accomplishments, seeing your children grow into adults, and building a sense of togetherness with your life partner. Stage 8. Integrity versus despair. The final psychosocial stage occurs during old age and is focused on reflecting back on life. At this point in development, people look back on the events of their lives and determine if they are happy with the life that they live or if they regret the things they did or didn't do. As the aging adult faces the issue of his or her mortality, the integrity against despair stage begins. Retirement, loss of partner, loss of friends and relatives, facing a terminal disease, and other changes in key roles in life can all spike in this stage. At this point, people look back on their lives and assess their accomplishments. Those who reflect on a life will feel fulfilled and prepared to face the end of their lives with confidence. Those who only experience regret will be look back with afraid that their lives will end without completing the task they believe they should have completed. Integrity experienced by those who are proud of their accomplishments. When this stage is completed successfully, there are few regrets and a broad sense of contentment. Even when they face death, these people will gain wisdom.